Florida Kitchen. I'm Harriet. This is my kitchen. We're in Florida. Today we're making rice. Now, you might think, why would you bother making rice? It's super easy to make rice. Who cares? All rice is the same. And if you think this, you would be wrong, because this is the best rice you'll ever have. You may have made even rice pilaf before, which is delicious, but not like this one. So I got this recipe years ago when I went with my sister-in-law Caroline on a Pan Am wives trip they were living in Berlin, and a bunch of the wives went to a chateau in France near Bordeaux. And it was a language school as well as a cooking school. Actually, they were experimenting to see if they wanted to do a cooking class. So we all went, well, sure, we'll be your guinea pigs. So we went to the cooking class. Well, we didn't know that the chef spoke only French. Oh, it was a language school. We were trying to learn French. Okay, fine. But only one of our number really spoke French well enough to be able to interpret what he told us. So we sat in there for a week, had a wonderful time eating fabulous food, hoping that as she interpreted what he told us, that we were getting it right. I mean, I pretend that I can speak French. I've spoken, I've practiced it anyway for years and taken classes for years, but really my French is just terrible, so I couldn't be sure. Anyway, it was all typed out for us, and this is the recipe that we use, and it is wonderful, especially because it has this wonderful bouquet garni in it that you'll see, but also it's going to seem to you like it takes too many cups of water. It works, you just have to trust me, but it is a little scary. Often I make it so that it comes out right at the right time, at the same time as my food, but I've realized because it scares me, because I'm always afraid this is the time it's not going to work, today I'm making it in advance, and then I'm going to heat it up right at the last minute. I'm serving it with the scallops, which you may have noticed which you may have made from the last Harriet's Florida Kitchen. But the scallops you do at the last minute. So I think I'm just going to heat up this rice right at the last minute too, and then it'll all come out at the same time. Anyway, I will now show you how to do it, and you will be dazzled and amazed. So the first thing you do is you prepare your bouquet garni, and to do that you must cut up your leek. Now, if you haven't ever fiddled with a leek, this is just a little strange. So you cut off the end, and they're always dirty. So you need to cut it not all the way through. You just need, I take off the outside one, but then probably maybe the second one. See? Dirty. You got to wash them. You absolutely have to wash leeks. So I'm going to cut this. Then this is going to be the amount that I'm going to use to make the bouquet garni, like that. Okay. Then you put some parsley in. You put some parsley in here. You put a bay leaf, and you put some thyme. And tie that up with some cooking twine. This, you just sort of knot it, that'll be fine, as long as it stays together. Okay, isn't it cute? Now, put a stick of butter, also known as a half a cup of butter, into the pan to melt. Okay, now it's melted. Put in a half a cup of, actually it calls for 100 grams of chopped onions, and that's a half a cup. But, I love onions, and so I usually put in pretty much a whole cup, or one of those little pre-chopped containers at Publix if you really want to cheat, which is heaven these days. All right, I'm going to let that saute for about 5 minutes. I'm going to put it on about medium, a little above medium, and let it do its thing. Now, while we're cooking the onions, this is the most fun thing of this whole recipe. So you take tin foil, and you make it about, you figure out about what it's going to do for about half of the pan. So let's say that you say, okay, that looks like it's about half of the pan, right? So you then cut it. No, you don't cut it yet. So you cut it, you fold it in half, and half again, and then you start making it sort of like if you ever made paper airplanes. Like that. And And like this. And then cut a teeny tiny little hole out of the middle, and I mean teeny. It'll kind of grow. Okay? And then you kind of figure out about what it is about halfway around, and you kind of make this into a, cut it there, and it's going to make a hat, which is so cool, which you're going to lay on top of the rice when you put it in the oven. Isn't it cute? And that way it has enough, it's not airtight, but it keeps the steam in, because you're going to put this in the oven, not cook it on top of the stove. Okay, that is I've been preheating the oven to 425. Now also, while I'm cooking the onions, let me just tell you, I almost always forget this. If you want the recipe for this, it is below this video. First thing I want you to do is subscribe. I'm up to over 800 subscriptions. If I get 1,000 and a lot of viewing hours, 4,000 viewing hours, they'll start to pay me for the ads they already have on my videos. Anyway, below you'll see where it says subscribe. So click on subscribe, and then you'll get little notifications to tell you when there's another fabulous Harry's Florida Kitchen. But the recipe, below this you'll see there's a little description, and then it says more. And underneath, if you click on more, it'll open up the page, and you'll see there's a bit.ly link which you click on, and that will give you the recipe. If for any reason you have a problem with it, sometimes I don't put the right sharing permissions on. If there's any problem, send me a comment and let me know, and I'll immediately fix it. Sometimes my technical skills are not as marvelous as they could be. Anyway, do subscribe, do look for the recipe. It's the best, it's so easy. And this one happens to be in both metric and in, I guess it's British Imperial, but American measurements. Okay, this is about another minute and 52 to go. And you're supposed to let this happen for about 5 minutes. Now, I usually just put the rice in while it's doing its thing, because I kind of like it that the rice does a little cooking with it. And it gets nice and buttery. You do not wash the rice before you do this. You just go ahead and put it in with the butter and the onions. And we're going to let it cook for about another minute 25, kind of at a little bit over medium heat. Now for this very exciting part. I'm going to put in the bouquet garni. I'm just kind of let it nestle in there. Then I'm going to pour in the boiling water. Okay, I measured out 1.5 liters. Oh, stop it. All right. So it's boiling water. Measured out 6 cups, but also it's 1.5 liters. And that is what he said. That's what he said in French. So you can believe it. And now put it in the oven, which is at 425. The cap on it. It's so fun. Oh, I love it. I just love it. Okay, so all you do is you just lay it on like that. And now I'll put it in the oven. Okay, I need to tell you something else. Be super careful at every stage of this. Everything you're doing is going to be very, very hot. So boiling hot water was added to that pan, and it's sloshy. So be sure that you put it in with gloves, even though you haven't put it into the oven yet. And when you take it out, it is so easy to just sort of go, oh, and here's the pan, and burn yourself. So please use your mitts the whole time you're doing this. Okay, the alarm has gone off. So now we're going to check it. It's been 20 minutes. And be very careful that you have pot holders. Okay. There's these wonderful tweezers, giant tweezers that Sally, my old friend Sally, gave me. Oh my gosh, it looks great. Oh my goodness, it's worked. This is a success. I'm so excited. Okay, I want to just test it just in case. Wait, let's see. That looks really amazing. Okay. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit longer, and then I'll test it. So one thing I forgot, of course, classic Harriet's Florida Kitchen, the show that screws up so you don't have to. I forgot to add any salt. Now, it doesn't tell you how much salt to do, so I'm going to sprinkle some on. I'm going to do it while it's still hot and mush it around a little bit. I'm just going to Probably about I'd say start out with a half of a teaspoon. That's probably about what that is. And then let people either do their own salt so that you know that so they're happy with it. All right, that should be fine. Now, I'm going to set it a little bit longer. It's still a little bit juicy, so you know what? I'm going to put it in for 5 more minutes into the oven. I just think it'll benefit from a little bit of drying, a little bit more. All right. Oh, 5 minutes or 7 minutes? 7 minutes. Okay. Okay, bring it out. Oh, that looks really great. Bring this over a little closer. This really cool swivel neck. Okay, that looks gorgeous. Now remember, all that moisture that you see, that's butter. There is a lot of water in it, but the butter, wow. Serve it with. Taste it myself. Okay, I'm going to serve it tonight, as you know, with the scallops. Delicious. Anna Garten. Well, she makes them with sea scallops, but my base scallops in her Provençal recipe. Okay, so. So hot. Oh my gosh, really good. Like really good. It is so delicious. There are little bits of onion, kind of a little slightly crunchy in it, but the butter, and then that, you wouldn't believe that that little bit of leek and bay leaf and parsley would kind of be subtle and permeate it, but it does. It just makes a difference in the, oh my gosh. You have to make this. It's obviously, as you can see, it's easy, but it's off the Richter scale delicious, and you can serve it with anything. It doesn't have a very strong flavor. It has just a delicious flavor. But it's going to be great with my scallops because the scallops are their own subtle flavor, so they're going to be perfect together. Okay. Told you about the subscribing. Yes, I've told you about listening, watching it for many, many, many hours, so I get the viewing hours. It's very important. And so now all you have to do is go down to the recipe below and make it yourself. Thank you so much for watching Harriet's Florida Kitchen. I appreciate it.